me do that.
Whoa, easy.
It's because of Maya.
This is what happens when you have dogs all the time. Hi guys, this is Julie for Creatures Pictures, and today I'm giving you 7 tips to work with actors who cannot act or non-actors. 99% of the time when an actor cannot act, it's because they're not comfortable. So I would say the number one thing to make sure of is that they feel comfortable and relaxed. It's the director's job to make sure that their actor feel comfortable with everything, feel at ease and stuff like that. The whole culture of putting actors on a pedestal comes from that, the fact that you have to nurture them and make them feel comfortable so they can give out the best performance. My second tip would be make sure that they feel confident. Make sure that they feel comfortable in their makeup. Make sure that they feel comfortable in their outfit. Make sure that you tell them that they look good when they do look good, because it's very nerve-wracking to be in front of camera and not knowing what you look like. So it's just a simple thing to just give out a compliment to your actors, and in a very, professional way, of course, letting them know when they look good, that they look good. So they're gonna, boost their confidence a little bit. And it happens a lot that they're nervous about what they look like because there's such a pressure. Sometimes that pressure is too heavy, so just telling them that in your director's eye, they look good, it's worth so much to them. And it's just gonna give them that boost of confidence they need to try to explore stuff with their acting game. Tip number 3 is make sure they don't act pretty though. Because of that pressure of looking so good all the time, and the fact that you might not give them enough compliments and reassurance on the fact that they do look good, they might want to compensate for that by looking pretty. It's valid for girls and boys, but girls especially are gonna try to act pretty, and that's not pretty. You cannot act all pretty and stuff because it just doesn't look real. So make sure that they do not act pretty. You gotta stop them from doing that, and you gotta tell them it looks ridiculous, because if not, they're gonna keep on doing it. It's automatic. They go back to looking pretty. Oh, look at me, I'm a Kardashian. Tip number 4, have a friend of them coming over on set. Usually absolutely not a fan of having people who don't work on my set being on my set, because it's too small anyway, that they might break something, they might distract, they might just be in the way of working. So if you don't work, you don't come on my set. That's my rule. But you can come and volunteer. That's cool, even if you don't have any experience. But there's rules, and you can either have them come over with a friend, which can help. Just make sure that you meet the friend before and you brief them. Or at the opposite, you can have a closed set. So everybody who's not absolutely necessary, you can remove from the set and just make them feel more comfortable depending on what type of scene it is, if it's justified or not. Tip number 5 is patience. You gotta have some patience and plan ahead for it. Give yourself more time, because you know that you're gonna be working with an actor, or you know that it's gonna be more difficult, it's gonna take more takes. So yeah, pretty much have a lot of patience. Don't blame your actor, because it's never the actor's fault if they cannot act. It's just because you need to direct them more, or everybody can act. Honestly, at home, everybody can act. It's the pressure of being on a set with all eyes on you, having to deliver a performance in front of a bunch of guys who 2 minutes ago were making some very nasty jokes that you were laughing at, and all of a sudden you gotta act a certain way, all romantic or, action-like. And those guys are your friends. You know they're gonna make fun of you if you fail. So it's a lot of pressure, and you know that people are gonna see your performance. And also, you're in the middle of chaos and you gotta be super focused. It's hard being an actor, it's a job, okay? And only people who've been on a set can understand that pressure. That's why I always tell directors to act, you know, go out there and do a project where you're gonna act, or act in your own movies if you need to. Because it's hard. So don't blame them, give them patience and consideration. There's only one exception to that. Tip number 6, casting is everything. If you do not work with the right people, it's never gonna work. You need to be able to communicate with your actors, even if they have zero experience, honestly. Most of the time I prefer an actor with zero experience than somebody who's been, you know, going to private acting school and working 10 years on Broadway, because it's just, they're gonna come with some kind of cockiness and, you know, they think they know it all, and then they have an attitude, and sometimes they have no experience at all and they still have an attitude. I cannot work with that. I'd rather work with a non-actor who's super open-minded. That's why I'm super good with directing children. You just gotta have patience with it. You can also do key lights before you're shooting, just to see if it's a good fit. The pretend of the key light is to make sure that, you know, actors look good together on camera and lighting look good on them. But really, you can also see that if you can work or not with that person. And you still have an option to, you know, step back if it doesn't work, if it's not a good fit. So tip number 7 is gonna be editing and the Kuleshov effect. Kuleshov was an early century Russian filmmaker who opened, I think, the very first film school ever. And he created all those filmmaking lessons, teaching filmmakers pretty much that if you have a non-actor, or if you have an actor who cannot act properly, you can take a neutral shot of their face, like neutral face, you know, resting bitch face, and you can put another like insert shot of whatever the situation is, and by editing, pretty much it's gonna give an emotion to a neutral face. This is one single shot of one neutral emotion that this dude is having, with different insert shots that portray different situations, and it looks like he's having different emotions, although it's the same exact shot. And I have a bonus tip for you guys. The bonus tip is prepare like a background story, the whole life of your character, have it in your mind and communicate it to a non-actor so they can understand complex emotions a little bit better, because they would have like the whole backstory that comes with it. Or if you don't have one, just make it up. And sometimes I make up a story that is not even the story of the character that I want to portray. It's a whole different story, but easier to understand in terms of emotions for a non-actor. So yeah, I don't have examples for that, but I hope you see what I mean, and it was a bonus tip anyway. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at CreaturesPicturesLA to share this video with anyone you know who works in the film industry or want to work in the film industry, or if you know like younger people who want to become a director one day, or even older people actually. And yeah, like, leave me a comment. Please leave a comment. Tell me you've been watching. Don't be lurking in the dark, okay? And yeah, that's it. Like, see you soon.
You're gonna be in mommy's video.
Smell my makeup. She loves to smell my makeup.
You want to smell mommy's makeup? Well, you better find the mommy's
Told
makeup
you it was
at some
gonna
point.
happen.
You better find the mommy's makeup at some point.
Is it Pasho approved?
It's a Pasha approved. Come on.
Boofy's butt. Boofy's butt.